That period of 10 years may seem short for adults, but for me, as a parent, it's been a long journey. My daughter, who was in elementary school, is now old enough to enter society. My husband, who left home on his own and has been living with his parents for 10 years, has abandoned his responsibility as a father. And his mother, who condones this behavior, seems to be interested only in setting up a false joint household. It's too late for him to come crawling back, smelling the sense of money. I've spent 10 years raising my child alone. I haven't wasted my time like you. My name is Kendall. I'm 53 years old and a homemaker working part-time. My daughter Jackie, who commutes from home to university, has recently received a job offer and will start working next year. She's still naive, but I'm happy to see how well she's grown up. The long yet short journey of parenting is coming to an end. There are still education loans to pay off, but for over 20 years, I've lived with my daughter as my top priority. But what should I do now? I want to travel, and taking up a hobby sounds enjoyable. How about finally going to the gym I've always wanted to try? Then, my parents passed away. They were both involved in a car accident, and they passed away together. It was so sudden that I didn't even have time to grieve. I was overwhelmed with funeral arrangements and paperwork. After finishing discussions with the tax accountant, I finally let out my tears when the burden was lifted from my shoulders. Then I remembered, right, I need to contact my husband. I took out my smartphone and made the call. No answer. Yeah, no answer. I know. I had tried calling several times before the funeral, but he didn't pick up. I also sent emails, but there was no reply. Then I got busy and forgot, and it's been over a week since then. It's embarrassing to forget about my husband in this situation. I'm not the kind of wife I want to be. It's been 10 years since my husband stopped coming back. He didn't disappear. He's living with his parents. Since he left home on his own, he's been avoiding me. It's frustrating and an inconvenience since I can't reach him directly. In emergencies, I have to rely on the landline at his parents' house to convey messages. I was at a loss when my husband left. I don't know why he left home. He refused to talk about it. But as a full-time working mother, I soon stopped caring about the reason. Trying to understand someone who would easily abandon their family without a word seems futile to me. He was always someone who prioritized his own family over mine from the beginning of our marriage. We've had countless fights about it. No matter how many times I explained that we had separate lives from his family, he would break his promises whenever his mother called him. Even if we were ready to go out or had travel plans, it didn't matter to him. Still, I feel like he made efforts to serve my family when my daughter was young. However, when my daughter entered her rebellious phase and my husband started treating us coldly, my mother-in-law suddenly had back pains. It was definitely in winter. It was a snowy year, and both my daughter and I caught a cold.
It must be tough for them, so I'm gonna help out at my parents' house for a while.
I have no idea what use my husband, who couldn't do household chores at all, was to them. My mother-in-law said it was okay for him to stay, saying she didn't mind. My husband is the eldest son and is from the countryside. He grew up in an environment where he was spoiled from a young age. He depends on his doting mother and the comfortable atmosphere of his parents' house. I'm the bride who stole her precious son from my mother-in-law's perspective. Oh, it's just too much to handle. I reluctantly dial the landline. My mother-in-law picks up. Hello, Adele. It's Kendall. Is Huey there? I've tried calling, but he's not picking up. What do you want with him? Please let me talk to him. What do you want? I told you so. It's always like this, with my mother-in-law interfering. I'm disappointed that my husband hasn't come back for so many years. My parents passed away. In this day and age, funerals are kept to a minimum, so I just kept it that way. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I can't believe it. No, I contacted you many times. Don't you have any common sense? What kind of common sense is my mother-in-law talking about? How strange that it was after the funeral was over, too. Oh, by the way, have you cleaned out your parents' house? I'm going to gather them with my relatives this weekend. Then she thinks for a moment and says, Oh, that big house. Well, the property is spacious, so it will take some time. She chuckles ominously. Adele, what's wrong? Oh, I'm sorry. It's nothing. Is that so? Well then, goodbye. I hang up the phone and sigh. Mom, you look really troubled, but are you okay? My daughter Jackie looks at me with concern. You didn't have to let them know, right? But I can't let it go, can I? I don't want to be seen as a wife who lacks common sense. I tell my daughter that, but deep down, I want to rebel. It's almost enough to cut ties, but for my daughter, he's her only father. On the weekend, I head to my parents' house with my daughter. My brothers and sisters take the lead, dividing up tasks, and the cleanup begins. Cleaning up a vacant house is typically done with the help of a professional for large furniture and appliances. Then the phone rings. It's from my mother-in-law. It's unusual for her to call me. Maybe she's, checking up on us? Hey, is everything going smoothly with the cleanup? My mother-in-law sounds unusually cheerful. Maybe something good happened. Sorry, I can't make it today. I have something urgent to take care of. Huh, were you planning to come? I haven't seen you in 10 years, and you suddenly say something like that? You probably don't even know where my parents' house is, so it's fine. Oh, come on, don't say that. We are family. It's only natural. I wonder what's up with her. My mother-in-law is usually selfish, but this time, she seems to have some sense. I reluctantly accept her sentiment. By the way, about cleaning up your parents' house, yeah, that's right. Sorting through all that stuff must be tough. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, so it's tough. Yeah, it must be tough to have so much stuff. That's right. Clothes, paintings, things that I can't manage properly are troublesome. Really nice. My mother-in-law's thoughts seem seen through, and my emotions fade. I take back what I said earlier. She doesn't make any sense after all. Is that all? Oh, by the way, I just wanted to ask, about your parents. How much did they, leave behind? Huh? It's my turn next, so it's just for reference. It depends on each family. Well, that's true, but tell me, it's not going to diminish, right? My mother-in-law seems to have aged and lost her reserve in the 10 years we haven't seen each other. She's become greedy. The inheritance my parents left, as written in their will, is to be divided equally among me and my 2 siblings. Of course, my mother-in-law has no right to intervene, let alone speak up. I was surprised by her clear words. Indeed, it is that time when my daughter is old enough to enter society. It's a mixed feeling of joy and sadness. Mom, I understand. Promise me one thing, if what I say comes true. What? I made a promise with my daughter. A week later, with most of the cleanup done and thinking about returning to work soon, the home phone rang. Thinking it was a delivery service, I opened the door.
It's been a while.
A grating voice. Oh no, I was supposed to check first. If I had known, I wouldn't have opened the door. Standing there was my mother-in-law and my husband, with his greasy and unkempt body, thinning hair swaying in the breeze, and wearing a loose-neck sweatshirt. What? After staring at my husband's haggard face for a while, I tried to close the door. You've got the wrong house. That's impossible. Kendall, it's been 10 years since you've contacted us or visited. What's going on with the two of you together? Especially my mother-in-law. Why is she so cheerful? My mother-in-law slipped past me and came into the house. Hold on, Adele. My husband followed suit and entered the house on his own. Well, it's his family's house, so it's not like he's intruding. No, he'd been absent for 10 years, so it's practically like strangers entering. Besides, I don't want this dirty man in our house. Kendall, I brought you a gift. I'm sure you'll be thrilled. My husband sat next to my mother-in-law with a cheerful demeanor. Oh, I will have coffee, please.
I will have tea.
Okay, Kendall? Not only my mother-in-law, but my husband's attitude pushed me to my limit. Why should I prepare tea for you when you left on your own, spent 10 years living freely in your parents' house, only sending money for our living expenses and never contacted me? I said, as calmly as I could, although I would have had a million things to say before I did so. What do you need? Why are you acting like that even though we've come all the way here? If you have nothing important to say, please leave. What a disrespectful daughter-in-law! I don't deserve to be told about courtesy by someone who comes here for the first time in 10 years for his own reasons, without contacting me. I don't waver from my indifferent attitude. Then, my daughter came down from the second floor. Jackie, long time no see. Grandma? My daughter said with wide eyes, surprised. My husband seemed equally surprised when he saw her.
Whoa, you've grown, huh?
Who are you? It seems that she didn't realize that the man next to my mother-in-law was her father. It's understandable. The last time they met was when she was in elementary school.
Who? It's your dad.
Huh?
It's me, your father.
I feel the same way. I mean, having that pudgy, balding stranger in front of you claiming to be your dad, you probably want to reject it, right? He's just a stranger to you.
Jackie, come sit here.
My husband says authoritatively, trying to seat our daughter next to him. But our daughter backs away with a disgusted look in her eyes. No, absolutely not.
Huh?
And besides, I have a condition where I get seizures if I'm not standing here, so don't mind me. It's pitiful how my daughter suddenly developed such an illness. I want you to see this. My mother-in-law took out the contents of the envelope she brought and spread them out on the table. It was a set of architectural plans with the name of a famous housing company. The floor plan has enough rooms for 4 households with a completely rooftop garden and an image of palace-like exterior. It's like a company pamphlet is also included. What's all this about? I had an ideal home designed for you, Isn't it wonderful? My mother-in-law sought approval, but I didn't know how to respond. You can do whatever you want with the kitchen and bathroom, Kendall. Huh? Oh, don't hesitate. The people who use it have the right to decide. The people who use it? I realize that our families should live together when the money comes in. So everything is working out just fine, huh? Well, I don't know the details, but how does this concern me? We are a family, aren't we? What's ours is everyone's. I can't see where this is going, but my mother-in-law seems to be going overboard. I asked my husband with a hopeful voice, "What do you think?" Without answering my question, the two of them nodded in agreement. Then my mother-in-law whispered something to my husband from behind.
I think it's time to go back.
I didn't understand what was going on, but he said something strange.
Right. So we will use the 30 million inheritance to build a new home, so we can live with my parents.
My mother-in-law nodded in satisfaction. See? Isn't it wonderful? Upon hearing this, my daughter suddenly exclaimed with excitement. See, Mom? My idea worked, didn't it? All I could do was laugh. Indeed, that's amazing. I burst into laughter when we looked at each other's faces. My mother-in-law and husband were delighted to see this. I'm glad you two agree.
It's true. The groundbreaking date has already been set. All that left is to make the down payment.
My daughter, smiling triumphantly, told both of them. No, you're both wrong.
Huh?
Live together? I won't be taking care of the two of you, who have been a burden on Mom for years.
Huh?
Oh, Mom, since I was right, please keep your promise. All right, I understand. My mother-in-law asked my daughter with a puzzled expression. I don't get it. What promise? Because you can't distinguish between what's yours and what's not yours, Grandma. I made a promise, thinking you would want Mom's inheritance. If you are a person who can distinguish that, you would have said something to Dad, right? Like, go back to your own home. After all, you just said families should live together. Grandma, you can't tell whose house is whose. My husband spoke up.
Originally, you guys kicked me out of this house, didn't you?
My daughter and I exchanged looks. I had no recollection of it at all. If you had apologized, I would have forgiven you right away. I was just waiting for one word. What are you guys waiting for?
It was you who told me to leave.
But no matter how much I think back, that couldn't have happened. There's no way I would have told my husband to leave.
Could it be that you forgot? In the snow, when I came back from work, you told me to leave.
I remember that snowy day. You, on that day, when both Jackie and I were sick in bed with a cold, you came back empty-handed and asked what you were going to eat. So I told you to go eat outside. To hold on to such a thing for 10 years, I've lost all my strength.
Is that so?
Yes, it is.
Well, no wonder it didn't make sense. After that, why did you leave me alone? The responsibility lies with you.
I tried to contact you so many times, both you and your mom. My mother-in-law looks uncomfortable. I could see she felt somewhat guilty for not letting her son keep in touch with us. Well, if you apologize, she will forgive you, so we can start over. Let's all live together happily. Upon hearing this, my daughter laughed again. Grandma, you don't know, but we've been preparing the divorce papers for 5 years. Huh? What? Our promise was to submit these divorce papers I was told that if my mother-in-law showed any interest in the inheritance, it would mean more trouble, so I needed to be determined. And my daughter encouraged me to live my own life. It felt like a burden had been lifted off my shoulders.
You're joking, right? You can't just submit divorce papers on your own.
If you'd refused contact and lived separately for 10 years, it would be recognized as a valid reason for divorce.
What?
You didn't know?
I've been paying child support regularly, and I've fulfilled my duties as a father. I may not have been able to afford much, but I believe that with money, children can grow up.
So you were thinking that money is enough to raise a child? A father who abandons his family for 10 years cannot fulfill his duties.
Children are raised by their mothers anyway, right?
Talking to this man is a waste of time. There's no need to understand each other now. That's right. I raised our child all by myself. I didn't need you as a father, to be honest. I was working, attending school events, dropping off and picking her up, and making lunches. Looking back, I was really busy. When I was sick, you, who was supposed to depend on, was absent. Even now, you're not needed.
What do you mean?
Let's end this and file for divorce.
Oh, you're lying. What are you going to do?
Kendall, please. If I keep getting older like this, what should I do about myself and Huey? My mother-in-law begged with a pale face. So are my daughter and I part of your household? Are we your caretakers? Oh no, that's not it. I mean, what about the 30 million inheritance? What are you going to do with that? Come to think of it, where did you hear about this 30 million? If it were divided among you and your siblings, it would mean there was 90 million in inheritance. What kind of conglomerate are we talking about? There's no way there's that much. My parents' house may look big and impressive, but it's just old and worthless. They spent money freely because they had many hobbies, so they didn't leave much cash behind. Did you mishear about the 30 million being divided into thirds? Ah, even if there were, we wouldn't build a house to live together with you. It's not going to happen. My mother-in-law and husband had tears in their eyes.
Are you going to abandon me like this, your husband?
Even if a man in his 50s cries, saying he's been treated unfairly, it doesn't move me. You can continue to live freely in your beloved hometown, as you have always done. Goodbye. About 3 months have passed since then. My ex-husband's relentless attempts to reconcile are bordering on stalking. I don't read the long, relentless emails he sends me more than 20 times a day. I'm considering legal action if you continue to ignore my warnings and persist in bothering me. I'm saving these threatening emails just in case they become evidence. I told him, and being a coward, he immediately stopped bothering me. The divorce papers were finally filled out and accepted. In my opinion, my ex-husband and my mother-in-law lack imagination. They can't imagine other people's feelings or their own future, so they live selfishly. In the first place, relying on someone else to take care of you is too naive. Even my daughter wants to be independent, so they're really pathetic. Speaking of which, once my daughter gets a job, she plans to move out and live on her own. It may be sad and worrying, but it will surely be a good experience for her. Money, time, and the value of family are things you won't understand until you experience not having them close by. I don't intend to make it difficult for her, but I'm ready to help her as much as I can. I, on the other hand, was promoted by the company I work for part-time to become a full-time employee. Now that the child rearing is settled and the divorce is finalized, it's a relief to be able to work full-time. I'm starting to get certified because I was encouraged to become a full-time employee. I feel like starting anew. My daughter encouraged me, saying, "Congratulations, Mom. You're going to be a top-notch career woman." I take those words to heart and find hope in the future. Although time may pass the same for everyone, how we spend the past 10 years varies from person to person. There will be enjoyable moments as well as unexpected challenges. Some answers may come with age. I'm going to live my life freely, just as my daughter wishes. You should do the same.